Hello, happy holidays, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and my God, C-Money, what a Thursday to wake up to. I mean, think about this for a second, folks. We are 6 days away from Christmas. I know, it's time to panic, right? And we're post-Game Awards 2024. Who would have thunk it that we would have two massive breaking news stories in the last, 12 hours. Thanks to our very good friend, great friend of the community, fantastic friend of Double Barrel Gaming, Ecstasies, an excellent Spanish YouTuber from Spain, dropped a megaton bomb yesterday about, the developer direct that's happening in January. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I had this information last week, and C knows it because we talked about it. I held it for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to piss anybody off. And two, the last thing I want to be known as is a leaker. That's not what we do here at Double Barrel Gaming. I'm a podcaster, and we talk about the news, and we talk about gaming. I had this information Thursday of last week, and C remembers because we talked about it privately. I decided to sit on it. I said, you know what? I'm gonna let the actual leakers leak it because I don't want no problems. I'm in good standing with just about every company, and again, that's not what we do here. But I did hear, now that it's out and about, that look to the third week in January for this developer direct. That's what I heard last week, and that is what Ecstasies is saying. But that's not all he's saying. We're going to get into that in the second half of the show. But the breaking news today, C-Money, is, well, there are two players in the industry that are looking to, get more entrenched into gaming. That is Xbox and that is PlayStation. Now, Xbox, they're a player.
There's quotes around entrenched for PlayStation, all right?
Well, I mean,
quote unquote entrenched.
I know this is going to sound slanderous, but of course, sometimes I like swimming in those filthy waters. One company buys things, the other company rents them. And, that's what apparently is happening with KADOKAWA. Everyone thought that Sony was going to outright buy them. They were going to have all the anime. They were going to own Elden Ring, and Xbox, like us, were never going to be able to play it unless we bought it on a PlayStation 6, 7, or 8. Well, it turns out that they are not buying them as a whole because I don't think they can actually afford that purchase. So they are investing 10% worth. They're going to have 10% of the company. Now that's
you don't have to think, Boom. You don't have to think.
No, you don't. You don't really have to think. But listen, before we get into it, those are the two topics we're covering. It. C-Money put out a very, very funny tweet. How you feeling, C? Welcome back.
Feeling good, man. I'm feeling great. Oh, it's hilarious. It's nice when you talk about things and you just talk factually, right? Because these are the facts. We know they're broke. We know they can't afford to be doing acquisitions. They're still on layaway with Bungie, right? They're still making payments. They still go into Walmart to the customer service desk and they're still dropping their payments off every month. So yeah. Listen, we joked about it on our channel because we knew this wasn't going to be a thing, right? Even if it was, we knew it wasn't going to be anything major. Like nothing was going to happen because they couldn't afford to keep the games off of Xbox. But truth be told, we already see it play out. They can't afford it. They wanted it. Okay, be clear. They've been talking for years. They wanted the game and the anime. They really wanted the anime. The anime was their heart and soul. That's what they wanted so badly. And Wakata, whatever the hell their name is, said it's all or nothing, bitches. Yeah. All or nothing. We're not cutting nothing out. You either can afford it or you can't. And you know what they did? They popped out their Robinhood app and they said, I'll buy some stock then. You know what I'm saying? What do I need to get up to 10%? And this is the funny part. They didn't buy 10%. They already had a percentage. So they just bought what got them over. They were like, we just got to pass 10 cents, okay? Don't spend no more. We just got to pass 10 cents so we could be the biggest. We want to be the biggest. What happens when 10 cents says, interesting, maybe we want to be bigger, and they go 11%. And Sony's like, tapped out. Oh, man, I can't go no more. Woo! That is
I mean,
hilarious.
so
And the crazy thing is the ponies think this is like some W. You read the comments. Well, the Xbox not going to see the next Elden Ring with that 10%. With 10%.
Yeah, 10% is not controlling. Over 50% is controlling.
They don't know anything. It's hilarious. Oh, I'm so happy I can't wait for our show tonight. I cannot wait.
I was, it's funny. I tried to get Hargeet in because obviously he is, he's Mr. Slender as well. And he's hung up in a meeting, but I said that when you guys get together on Friday, it's going to be a slobber knocker of a no holds barred kind of a cage match for your show. But listen, folks, instead of just taking our word, right? Okay, so we're laughing, we're jesting right now. We're having a good old laugh with it because again, originally they were supposed to buy the whole store, and it turns out, well, that in fact is not the case. They're going to own a pinch more than 10%, and what that ultimately means for Sony is exactly what the number is. They have 10%. Now, granted, 10% is still a sizable aspect of any company. It's 1/10 of the company's value. They own it. That's a decent sized deal, but it's nowhere close to an acquisition, which was originally, run about by the PlayStation community. They were running around with W's the size of King Kong, and it turns out, well, that's not what happened. And it probably has a lot to do with the available and spendable capital that Sony has. I know that we're sitting here laughing, but we're going to get serious now because I do have the presser here, thanks to Wario64 of Twitter, and basically it's titled "KADOKAWA and Sony agree to form a strategic capital and business alliance, further strengthening collaboration to maximize both companies' IP value globally." So here is two snippets of the presser, both from Takashi Natsuno, who's the chief executive officer or the CEO of KADOKAWA Corporation. And he says this, "We are very pleased to conclude this capital and business alliance agreement with Sony. This alliance is expected to not only further strengthen our IP creation capabilities, but also increase our IP media mix options with Sony support for global expansion, allowing us to deliver our IP to more users around the world. We are confident that this will greatly contribute to maximizing the value of our IP and increasing our corporate value in the mid to long term. We intend to do our utmost to ensure that our collaborative efforts with Sony produce great results in the global market." Now, this next presser or the next snippet of the press release comes the way from Hiroki Totoki, who, of course, is the money man at Sony. He is the president, COO, and the CFO of Sony Group Corporation. He goes on to say this, money. "Through this capital and business alliance, we will become the largest shareholder of KADOKAWA, which consistently creates a wide variety of IP, including publications and books such as light novels and comics, as well as games and anime. By combining KADOKAWA's extensive IP and IP creation ecosystem with the strengths of Sony, which has promoted the global expansion of a wide range of entertainment, including anime and games, we plan to work closely together to realize KADOKAWA's global media mix strategy aimed at maximizing the value of its IP and Sony's long-term vision, Create Entertainment Vision," which is titled CEV. So, okay.
There's a bunch of fluffing on both sides.
I mean, it ultimately is. I do want to just kind of jump out in front of this before I hand the mic over to you, because I'm very interested to hear you from a businessman's point of view, because obviously you own your own business and you understand a lot of the terminology that's being used here as well as I do. By no shape, form, or shenanigans should anyone think that the next Elden Ring, which sold almost as much as it did on PlayStation, of course, PlayStation sold more, that somehow that IP is going to be locked up and just dropped onto the next PlayStation and PC only. That's not going to happen. When you see collaborations like this, they are in it for the money. They're not in it for your console war. They're not in it for your list war. They're not in it for your Twitter wars. They're in it to make money. And that is exactly why Sony, and again, I have the exact stats here. Again, a big shout out to Wario64, who's always on top of this. It turns out KADOKAWA and Sony agreed to form this strategic capital and business alliance. Sony is acquiring 12,054,100 new KADOKAWA shares for approximately 50 billion yen. Sony will become KADOKAWA's largest shareholder, holding approximately 10% of its shares, including the shares Sony previously acquired in February of 2021. There's a lot to break down here. Let's get your thoughts there, C-Money.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for the people who like number one, just to I guess this is something that has to be said, so let's just make it clear. When you hear the percentage of what is owned, right? Like you can't do pony math, right? Where it's like, hey, Call of Duty's 30% that goes to PlayStation, they might make more money off of Call of Duty than the 70% that Xbox gets, right? Let's be beyond, let's get a little bit beyond the pony logic that's used, right? So KADOKAWA, whatever their name is, they have 100% of their company, right? And a certain percentage of that is owned by someone else, right? Tencent owns like 6 and change. And then now Sony upped theirs to 10%. Somebody was asking, it's not an additional 10%? No. They just paid the difference. I told you they did it on their Robinhood app. Okay. They didn't even talk to these people. They were just like, you know what? Let's just dial it in. Right. So they just own 10% or 10, a little more than 10. All right. So understand this. There is no way, shape, or form where Sony has the ability to tell KADOKAWA what to do. They have no decision-making capability. They can sit down and suggest things. They can sit down and say, hey, would it be a good idea to do this? But KADOKAWA is going to go say, go F yourself. We saw everything that happened on your PlayStation with these other exclusives you got. You think we're going to take our IP that finally is making us money? Finally, we're worth something because Elden Ring got released, and now we're going to drop that to give it to you? No, thank you. And that's going to be the other. Honestly, they didn't even mention PlayStation in this at all. PlayStation, Sony knows better. Sony didn't want this for the games. Sony didn't want it for the games. It's just a fact. They wanted it for the anime.
Yeah, man.
And KADOKAWA knows their value. And if they would have gotten rid of the anime plus the gaming, right, they would have no value, right? It would be done. Whatever else they do is just not enough, right? And the reason we know this is that even with the anime, even with the gaming, no one is stepping up to purchase, right? Sony can't. We know they want that anime. They want the anime. Microsoft don't give a crap about the anime, and they're not going to buy them for one game from one studio that's just not, like, this is their first time coming out here with huge success, right? It just doesn't make any sense for Microsoft. They're getting the game anyway. Why would they buy it, right? It means nothing to them. So no one else is, though, right? No one else is buying the building. So that just means KADOKAWA believes that they're worth more than they actually are. And that's just the reality, right? If they were worth what they were putting out there, somebody would have stepped up. We know Sony was willing to take loans from whatever place that they got to try to get Paramount, right?
And that
they
failed.
tried.
Yeah.
That failed,
yeah.
right? So at the end of the day, this is just what we see, right? The facts are the facts. There's no reason to try to do the loop-de-daisy and see if we can figure out how this actually works out for the ponies. It doesn't. It means nothing. All it tells you definitively is what we've been telling you the entire time, but you guys still think that it's wrong. You still have this make-believe La La Land world where you think that Sony has more than they factually have. There's no hidden safe at Sony, okay? They don't have this little cutout in the wall and they reach into it and it's like Santa's, sack where they just keep reaching it infinitely. They can find more and more money in there. They don't have it. They don't have it. They've been at this for a very long time. They're not a new company. Sony's been around for a very long time. Understand the worth of the company making a PlayStation. They will never be anywhere near the likes of a Microsoft or an Apple or a Google. They don't offer enough value to anyone to do that. You ponies are the only people who think they offer value, yet clearly, their box is simply a third-party box. They have no intention on investing in PlayStation Studios to start dropping you 5, 6, 7, 8 games a year like we get on Xbox. They don't care about you like that. No. I see y'all putting the numbers out there. I see you putting it out. Oh, they made $27 billion. Great. First of all, that's gross. Learn the difference in business, right? Gross means nothing. Gross means nothing. Net is the only thing that matters. But let's even go deeper than that. Out of that 27 bill gross, why don't you break down to me how much of that comes from PlayStation first-party studios? Oh, not much. Got it. So they are worthless to the majority of people. Sony only cares about the Fortnite players and the Call of Duty players and everyone else who shows up to play third-party games on their box. That's why at the end of the day, they don't have anything of value to offer. How can they grow? They have nothing of value to offer. The first-party studios are non-existent. So PlayStation is never going to be more than just what it is. You're only at 65 mil. PlayStation 4 sold more. PlayStation 2 sold even more. So you can't look at it like they grew. They didn't. You're still not there. Past the PlayStation 2, and then we can talk about, wow, look, they actually grew their install base. But they didn't.
Again, I think what people fail to realize, and the number is concurrent for every generation. You've heard people talk about this. And again, taking nothing away from Sony, they have sold a lot of consoles. But you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that these companies, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, are selling to the same 200 million consumers across the three platforms.
Wait, who? Xbox? Xbox not. They moved on. They have
no.
that they're selling to.
No. Well, that's again, that's a horse of another color, because that's why Xbox is making these big drastic moves, because they can't keep selling to the same 200 million as they did for the Wii era and the GameCube era and the PlayStation 3 era and the Xbox One and PS4. They need to find new customers, which is why Microsoft is going in a way different direction. And yes, it's painful. If you're an OG like me, you don't like this kind of change. You want your stuff to stay
I'm an OG. I want games. I want games.
Yeah.
So remember when I said earlier, when PlayStation will not invest more to give 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, to all the ponies in the chat and to all the ponies listening, you can claim to love games. You can, sure, do your thing. But at the end of the day, there's only one box with a platform holder who is creating games for the players. I don't care who else plays it, but I get it day one in Game Pass. There's only one platform holder. I mean, technically, Nintendo can do it every once in a while. They'll give you 4 or 5 games in a year. Let's talk, the ones that we compare, which is PlayStation and Xbox. Between the two, there's no comparison here. As a gamer, sit down. I don't want to hear you talk anything about PlayStation. They're non-existent, bro. They're non-existent. We had so many games released this year. You can categorize games the way you want because, again, I know if it's not that simulator, then it doesn't count as a game. Sorry, fam. I played the shit out of a bunch of different games that Xbox made. Xbox, first party, made. Okay? That is the reality of where we are. So you can continue to pretend like playing a third-party game is the same. It's not. We all get third-party games. Are you talking about the little ones that your PlayStation people decided to money hat because those companies are broke or too weak or too scared that their game is actually going to sell, so they take the bag? Because I know a certain developer who's making Crimson Desert said, nah, Sony, I'm good. My game's going to sell. We don't need you. See, y'all get the broke ones. Y'all get the people who are literally just praying and hoping that their game hits. God, please let me get a shot in life with this game. So Sony's like, all right, here's $15 and a coupon for a Happy Meal. Hopefully this gets you through. How do I know that? I don't know. Maybe because some of these games that took the bag are not doing well out in these streets. I don't know. It's funny because we don't have those conversations over here, isn't it? Isn't it weird that we don't have those conversations over here? Why? Because over here, we get the games. We get the games for free. They're in our Game Pass. They're in there. We just enjoy 8-10 games a year. A year from Microsoft. And you're trying to compare us, fam? There is no comparison. You are delusional. You're hyped off of games that don't exist anymore. Where are these games that you're talking about, fam? Ghost of Tsushima 2 doesn't exist. You're getting Ghost of Yote. Some chick, you have no idea who she is. You have no idea if you're going to give a damn about that story, and you're hyped for that?
Well, look.
I'm not. I'm not hyped for that.
I'll say this. The truth of the matter is that this deal, like the Paramount deal, was sold as, again, Sony didn't sell it. The community sold it as it being a done deal and they were going to do all these things. The Paramount deal fell through, right? That was hot talk for about a week. This has been going on. It's been ongoing for the last, 2 weeks, maybe 3, give or take. And ultimately, at the end of the conversation, it's just 10%. And I'm not being facetious, folks, but it is just 10%. It is not the whole company. And the fact of the matter is, now, granted, you can play the card that they can't afford to buy KADOKAWA. Maybe there's some truth to that. But there's also some truth that we heard behind the scenes that was made public, that KADOKAWA didn't want to just sell the anime and the gaming. They wanted to sell the whole kit and caboodle. Now, maybe Sony couldn't afford that. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want that. At the end of the day, it's a stark difference from last week or the week before, where Sony was going to lock up anime and have a monopoly there, and completely shut out Elden Ring 2 to owning the company to now owning 10%. Because 10% is going to get you a seat at the big table. There's no doubt about that. Remember, it's 1/10 of the company. That is significant, but that is also not big enough where you're going to have a voice that tells, hey, we're PlayStation, you sold this many here, okay, but we're going to double it because if we lock it down, people are going to buy it on our box. No, I don't think that's the case. I think there would be a lot of people that you might get 2, 3, 4 million people to go out and buy a PlayStation to play the next Elden Ring. That's possible, but most people will buy it on PC, and they're going to be releasing that. The next Elden Ring, which we already know has been announced. It was announced, that it's a co-op thing. That's going to be everywhere. Whenever they announce Elden Ring 2, see money, that is also going to be everywhere. You know why that is? Because the first one sold more than the company itself could have imagined. No one in their right minds or imaginations could have guessed how well Elden Ring was going to sell across multiple platforms.
Bro, they already been there, done that. Boom.
Yeah.
They released Bloodborne. They released Bloodborne. 1 million people bought it. They released Bloodborne there. This has been there, done that. There's no confusion. You think they're going to go back to being the random company? No, once they did that, they stopped, they moved forward, and they've been progressively getting more sales as they release new stuff. And Elden Ring was just the pinnacle of it, right? We'll see what they come up with next, but they're never going back. I could tell you that much. They never going back.
I agree. I think it's going to be very difficult to try and moving forward with all of the companies, because you got to remember, gaming development has quadrupled in price. This isn't class math 101. It's common knowledge that development cost has doubled, tripled, even quadrupled in some aspects. No one can afford to put a game on one platform and hope that one platform's fans go out and buy that game in droves. It's just not feasible. It's exactly why Xbox is doing what they're doing. Now, granted, I'm still in my feels about the Trinity. You know that. I'm never bending the knee to that. But something like a Starfield goes next year, I'm not going to cry about it. Again, old me would have been like, yeah, I wouldn't give Sony anything, but that's not the business model, folks. I had to adjust my way of thinking, because if I stay stagnant, the business and gaming is going to leave me behind. So I have to move with the times. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, so will you. Now, you may not like it, and I understand it. I was there. But these are the sad realities of business. And bringing this all the way back to where we started with KADOKAWA and Sony, it is only 10%. It is not a full-on acquisition, and it's honestly, in my opinion, because they either could not agree on what to sell, or Sony could not actually come up with the monies to buy the company as a whole. So they said, you know what, we'll just invest and then do something else. And that's exactly what they wound up doing. But
listen, Xbox wanted Starfield, and they bought the building.
Yeah,
Sony wanted anime, and they opened up their Robinhood app and added a few more percentages to their ownership. All right, let's get this clear. We are not the same. I really don't care. The funny thing is that people want to treat it, when we talk about this stuff, as if we're console warring. First of all, I don't console war. I don't care. I have everything, right? I pony war, right? It's the ponies who sit here and they talk stupid shit. I'm sorry, stupid crap. And then it's supposed to be taken as gospel when they're clearly delusional. Clearly. I just said about the games, right? Remember, this is what you hear out there, right? This is some mountain games. Okay. So I talk about the games that the first party platforms are making. How many games are the first party platform holder? Are they producing? How many? For the gamer who supposedly bought the box to play their games, right? That's why you do it, right? That's why you do it. That's why you buy a PlayStation, supposedly, is because you want to play PlayStation games, not games that they bought from somebody else that you would have gotten had they not bought it. No one bought a PlayStation saying, I'm buying a PlayStation because PlayStation money hats these games. No. You know why? Because you don't know what games those are going to be. You don't know what games they're going to money hat. They might get a good one now and a crap one later. You have no idea. The only reason you think you buy a PlayStation is because you say to yourself, if you're not one of, let's rephrase that to what a hardcore PlayStation player, the only reason they buy a PlayStation is because they claim to love Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch and these other studios that they have, and they're looking forward to seeing what first party games are going to come from PlayStation. What do you have when PlayStation is not releasing those games? You have no reason to be there. That is the reality of what it is. Now, over here on Xbox, dude, I get it. We had times in the past where we didn't have a lot of big games coming, right? But those times are done. We're not waiting for a future. People get confused when I say I'm excited for the future. I'm not excited for the future because we don't have a present. I'm excited for the future because we do have a present, and this present is amazing. And next year is going to be even more amazing. And the year after that, we already know is going to be amazing. What do you know, ponies? You know you're getting Ghost of Yote, which half of you were crapping on because it's a girl now. Okay, that's what half of the ponies were crying about, and then the other half are like me, wondering where's Jin? Didn't they invest in this character? People liked him. He had a decent story, right? Story. One that you would want to see continue, right? What's next for him? Now he's a ghost. You just finished it, right? You finished it supposedly canonically. This is the crazy thing. Back when the game came out, canonically, like the canon was going to be from when he became a ghost. They were going to move forward with that.
Yeah.
Interesting how they didn't.
Yeah.
How they didn't. And Mr. Toast, yes, the F we can, bro. I've been using it since I was God knows how long amongst all my homies. That being said, I'm not going to say what he said because I don't need to be out there, but absolutely we can. We've done it since the age of time, man. That's the reality.
Well, listen, again, strong way to open up the show. No console war shenanigans. Listen, C-Money's going to have fun with it. I'm going to have fun with it. Again, we just have to go based on some of the things that were said. You got to remember, the same people that were running around with giant W flags when this was announced swore up and down that the next Elden Ring and every Souls game from here to eternity was going to be locked behind the PlayStation whatever. And that didn't happen. It didn't happen for a bunch of reasons. Now, again, could that be both reasons from both companies? You know, one wants to sell the whole kit and caboodle and the other one doesn't want it or they can't afford it. That's definitely a possibility. But at the end of the day, they do have 10%. It is 1/10 of the company. It is not like they don't have a seat at the table. They do. I just don't think that it makes any business sense to invest that kind of money to then put out something like an Elden Ring 2 and then dial it back down to one or two platforms, completely boxing out.
It's not about games, bro. They barely mention their games. They barely mention it. What they want is to do the anime. They want to take and make TV shows. They want to make movies.
Yeah,
this is what Sony is investing in.
Yes.
They want to spend little and get big returns. They've already seen it multiple times. Even when they release a bad movie like Venom that some people don't think is great.
Or you mean
they
Kraven?
Still make no Kraven, they lost big. They lost big. They spent more and made way less. Venom, that still think, if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the Venom movies did $1 billion. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm mixing it up with Spider-Man. Yeah, I think the first one did, right? So it's like that's what they're hoping to have happen. Not too much investment and the potential for big return, right? That doesn't exist for them in gaming. It's the opposite. The more they invest in gaming, the less they're getting back. That's not my numbers. That's Sony's numbers. They released it for all of us to critique and laugh about. And the crazy thing is the factual numbers are there. Sony doesn't have a golden parachute. You know what I'm saying? They're not Big Daddy Microsoft, right? If PlayStation sinks or fails, there is no real hope for Sony unless they continuously invest in this movie aspect and things like that. And they do continue to build that. And that goes back up to being like their main thing. That will be different. But at the end of the day, if they don't produce things that make enough money for them, there's no safety net, right? It's not there. It's not there. So we're all enjoying gaming right now, regardless of what platform you're on, because again, we know most people who own a PlayStation don't own it for the exclusives, right? That's just facts, right? So everybody who owns a gaming console, a gaming PC is having fun gaming. We're literally the best time of gaming ever. Yet we have people who are worried about like mocking the idea of where games might be going from Xbox.
Yeah, it's small-minded thinking that you should not pay attention to. Gaming is changing in a big way. I want to shout out Thanos, great friend of the program. Thanos, brother, thank you for being here. He brings up a fantastic point, and I think people have to understand this. He says, so you know why games are making more female lead characters? It's because the percentage of female gamers as of 2023, and he's correct on this, is now 46%, which is almost half. He says 46% in the US. In a few years, there might be more female gamers than male. And you know what? He's not wrong. So, of course, they have to, and I don't want to say cater. Cater is not the right word here. They have to appeal to gamers that are not dude bro guys, and that's okay. And again, I got to be quite honest with you. This is how you know the PlayStation community is unbelievably immature, because they claim that they're all about that AAA, bombastic type of experience. And what happened to Ghost of Yotai and what happened to Intergalactic? It's being destroyed by negativity and fear of change. Yes, there are female leads. Get over it. Go back and play Joel if you want on The Last of Us, if you want a male lead. Because, I mean, didn't you play as Ellie for Last of Us 2? Right? You did, right? So there was no beef there. I don't understand what's going on with this world. I mean, you know what? I don't want to go. I don't want to.
It's just real quick. It's just funny that they're very they get very turned off by the women who look like, who are not very super done up feminine style, right? They get really turned off by that. It annoys them, right?
That's ridiculous.
And it's because they're not sexually turned on or motivated to play that game because the character doesn't look like somebody they want to do. Yet they will happily play a game with a dude that they stare at from behind the entire time.
Makes fantastic point.
I'm just saying, what does that say about them? Where are they? You know what I'm saying? Is that real? Yeah, I'm just saying, wouldn't it make more sense that if the woman had more masculine features, it would make them more comfortable, considering that that's what they prefer to play with it anyway?
Listen, I don't know, honestly, but I think that people need to get over this female lead situation, because it's getting a little old, and it's getting old quick. Women matter.
That's wild, yo.
That's face reality, folks. They're 50% of the planet, and we need them to survive. So
even if there was 10%, back when girls didn't play, we had Tomb Raider, and nobody was complaining about Tomb Raider. Why? Because of the triangle tetas. Okay, they had those triangle tetas, and those boys were like, "Oh my God, look at the triangle tetas! Look at the triangle tetas!"
Oh my goodness!
Lara Croft is amazing because of the triangle. Come on, man.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Get out of here, man.
Again, breaking news, folks. KADOKAWA, not owned by Sony. They have 10%. Yes, it's 10%. Again, please don't misunderstand the conversation. It's 1/10 of the company, but it's not the whole company. And again, if I'm being slanderous, and I don't mind being slanderous every now and again, this goes to show you the difference of Microsoft versus Sony Corp. Sony rents things. Microsoft buys things. That's the difference.
Facts.
And if you don't like the way I'm putting it, well, then I don't know what to tell you, but that's business. Again, I own 10% of company. Oh, you want Starfield as an exclusive Sony? Not a problem. We just bought the whole farm. You can't even have a cow. And that's that's what happens.
Just to address the idea, because I keep seeing it, it's like, bro, just get over it. Get over it. All right. They came to Sony, right, to buy the company
2 years ago.
But Sony wanted the games and the anime. They wanted to buy that, and they couldn't afford it. That is the reality of what it is, because the company said, no, you have to buy it all. If they wanted it, they would have bought it if they could afford it, but they can't. Right? They can't. See, like I said, when Microsoft wanted to stop Sony from keeping Starfield off of Xbox, they bought the building.
Yeah.
They didn't say, no, I'll just buy the Bethesda game studio. I don't want the other ones. No. They bought the building. Listen, defend the brokenness all you want, fam. Is not going to make you have more games. You ain't getting more games. The only person you better beat, if I were you, I would watch your mouth when you talk about Xbox because they're the ones who are going to be feeding you.
Yeah.
They're the ones. Watch your mouth, dog.
Yeah.
Because the moment they feel like, you know what? Maybe this plan is not worth it. Let's stop doing that. Y'all going to be like, no, where's my games? Oh, no. Where's my games?
You know,
the only games they're looking forward to next year are Indiana Jones, Doom, and Outer Worlds 2. That's all you're looking forward to, Pony. Believe that. And Call of Duty. Sorry, 4. Woo! 4. Remember that, fam. Remember that. Prove me wrong. Call me dumb. Write it in the chat. Show me where I'm wrong. Write it in the chat. Show me where I'm wrong. Show me in a tweet where I'm wrong. Do it. I'm everywhere. Find me on Twitter. Find me on my YouTube channel. Go put it on the comments. Show me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. Show me how I am wrong. All you're going to do is clip it and say, look at him crying. I'm crying, fam. Look at the reality. I have no tears, dog. I cry of laughter. That's where I cry. Laughter. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I'm laughing at y'all. Pointing and laughing nonstop. Wow.
Interestingly enough, the other day when I said that I may, again, this people could take it as slanderous, but it's fact. Think about this for a second. Sony's biggest games next year are from Xbox Game Studios. Let that sink in.
Facts.
And people shunned me for that statement. But am I lying?
Keep supporting us, baby. I love that Game Pass. Keep supporting us. Give them that 70 every time. How many? That's 4 games next year. They're gonna drop the 74. So that's what 280. Dope. All of y'all do that. All of you do the 280, fam. I love it. I love it. Keep it happening because I'm just gonna keep getting more and more in my Game Pass. Beautiful.
Tasty. But you know, it's not going to be just a 280 because each one of those games is going to have $100 edition.
Oh, and you know they're going to want that one.
Of course.
They're going to want the shiny. Oh, yeah, they are. So they are.
Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah, they are.
Again, great way to open up the show. Hopefully you're having a good time. I got to catch up with a couple of things here. So yesterday, I can't disclose what I did yesterday yet. In the next couple of hours, I'm going to be tweeting something. It's a new collaboration with Double Barrel Gaming. I sat down with a project manager for a company that I am unbelievably stoked to be working with.
Awesome.
That's going to come out again. That's company number 2 because we obviously have Valari, which I'm going to get to in a second. Because guess what? Christmas is in 6 days, ladies and gentlemen, and you can still buy the Double Barrel Gaming pillow because the first 50 sold out and they re-upped it. So I'm going to drop that link in here in a second. I'm going to show you with your own, so you can see with your own eyes exactly what the pillow looks like. I think the design is fire, but yeah, that's what's been going on. We also have, we do have the big topic. And next year, to start the year, folks, week 3, look to week 3 for the Developer Direct. We're hearing some big titles that are going to be unveiled there. We'll get to that in a second. So let me just throw this up on the screen for a hot second so you guys and gals can turn around and see. This is the Double Barrel Gaming pillow designed by Valari. That is, of course, that's the mock design. I'm going to show you exactly what the real pillow looks like on the couch. And there it is, folks. There is the pillow for you. Again, if you're interested in purchasing the pillow and supporting Double Barrel Gaming, and you want something that's not only going to support us as a small mom and pop grop shop kind of organization, but you're going to support your back. And it does work because I have one. I actually ordered one for myself. I had the original, but when I had Tyler working with me in the pictures for the commercial, his deal was, hey, Theo, if I do this, I get to keep the pillow. And of course, I can't say no to that boy because he is my life. So he has the pillow. He uses it, and it's in his room right now. And listen, I can't believe we're here. And we're here because of you. We don't get these offers. We don't get these companies looking into Double Barrel Gaming to invest without the fact that we have people in here. We have almost 600 people here enjoying the show. And hopefully you enjoyed it enough to hit the like button. But again, if you want this pillow, I'm going to drop the link in a second. You can use the code DBG15 at checkout, which of course is short for Double Barrel Gaming, and you will get 15% off of your order. There is free shipping, and they do ship worldwide. The pillow works. It's great for you, for anyone that has a back issue like myself. And I honestly cannot believe that we have teamed up with the Valari Gaming Pillow Company, and we're thrilled and honored to be able to do that. But listen, C Money, we got to get into topic number 2, because this one is massive. And
are you doing the super chats at all?
You know what? Thank you, sir. Yes, I am doing the super chats, and there's been quite a few.
You want to take the picture off too?
You know what? Yes, I will take the picture off. Give me a second. Okay, so let's bring us back. There we go. We are going to let you see the Call of Duty content. There you go. Thank you so much for the assist. I'm trying to do a lot. I got 3 screens open, and I'm trying to figure it all out. But listen, we got 10 super chats here, or channel member chats. And the first one comes the way of BT Maverick 707. Now, BT Maverick and I had a great conversation last night. He thought he had some thoughts. He had some theories. I'm glad we were able to square everything away. He's a good dude. So thank you, Maverick, for not only coming back to the channel, but donating 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. That is very kind of you. That's very kind of you, man. Especially during the holidays where, listen, money's tight for a lot of people. And we'll get into it at the end of today's show, what's happening tomorrow. And it's a doozy, folks. It's the biggest contest that Mrs. Boom and I have ever done personally or professionally with this channel. And it's the most money we've ever given away. And we're so honored and so proud to be able to help so many people. And that's thanks to you fine folks. We'll get into that towards the end. We also have here Will Broke Boy Lewis, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $2 super chat. And he says his Valari pillow is on the truck for delivery today. That is awesome. I will say this.
That's dope.
When you get the pillow, it's going to be, have the air taken out of it. It's going to be like vacuum sealed. Throw it into the dryer at low for about 10 minutes, and it puffs the pillow out. It works like a charm.
Nice.
Jay Slay, generous friend of the program. Jay, great to see you here, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity. He drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, what people want is a list of criteria for what games go elsewhere. The reality is that this makes no business sense whatsoever and will never happen. Well, there you go. I mean, I think he's 100% right on there. I think that the list wars that a lot of us used to care about, or some people really care about now, they are evaporating. They're not going to be around because the industry cannot afford to base their business decisions on emotion. It's about the dollar. And if they got to put a game on another platform to make that money, they're going to do it. Sony,
they do it in bad faith, though. Like, that's the problem. The people who ask for that criteria, they know that no business is going to do that. They know Microsoft is a financially responsible company, and they're not going to risk their business making random statements that may or may not be true in the future, right? That's why there's no definitive statements that are made, just ideas of what they're doing. Right. Yeah. These are all ideas and plans. They're not 100% what things are and will be. That's why everything is case by case. That's why everything is so muddled, because they're never going to say anything, because nothing is, in fact, set in stone. No matter what people heard, no matter what people say, tomorrow Satya could wake up, have his advisors with him, and they can change everything because of something that they found out or something that they feel. This is business. They don't stagnate. They don't wait to see if all their money's gone before moving, unlike some companies who seem to just wait until they're, about to die and then say, okay, maybe we should change. We'll see. We'll see.
Business, you ever heard the terminology business changes at the drop of a hat? That's exactly, I know it sounds simplistic, but that's the reality of it. But Bob's Adventure. Hey, Bob, welcome to the channel, brother. He has become a new channel member. That is very kind of you. We definitely appreciate the generosity. Mash, who has done this before. I think he did it yesterday, and he's done it again, folks. Mash, generous friend of the program, has gifted 10
Mash is the homie.
Double Barrel Gaming memberships. Mash, thank you so much for being here, brother.
Super
and
generous.
Thank you so much for the generosity. We truly appreciate it. We also have JD Gamer. Hey, JD, great to see you here, brother. Thank you so much for the $5. It says Foam Stars and Forspoken say hi. Keep waiting on unknown money-hatted games on PlayStation. By the way, pathetic port-begging ponies still got no games. I mean, that's his tagline. Michael Mooney.
Holds true.
Michael Mooney, generous friend from across the pond, drops an outstanding £5 super chat. Michael goes on to say, I wonder how Sony is handling the Honda and Nissan merger. CES 2025 in January will be interesting. Yeah, that broke today from Bloomberg.
Honda and Nissan is merging.
They broke that this morning.
Wow.
I saw it when I got up at 6. That's
wild.
Massive news, bro. To have those two companies. I mean, they've been separate for how many decades? Years. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they have nothing to do with each other.
They are looking to merger, which that's bonkers. Let's see. JD Gamer.
I wonder if they're doing bad and they're merging, or it's like a power play. One of them is doing much better and wants to absorb the other one.
I didn't read the article, but
I'm not fully into it. But
yeah, when you see companies that big merge, you kind of wonder if one is faltering. Like, is Nissan as big as it used to be? Is Honda? I know Honda's pretty big.
Honda has to be.
I don't know so much about Nissan per se, but maybe that's what it is. They're like, hey, we're struggling. Let's merge and, keep everybody, going. I don't know. JD Gamer drops an additional $2 super chat and says, PlayStation gamers want to play girls that look like like P stars. And of course, he's talking about porn stars. There you go, JD Gamer. Thank you so much for the generosity. JVC and Sons drops a very generous $2 super chat. And JVC, it's great to see you here, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity. He says, female over male characters for my preference. I mean, I hear you. I mean, that for a lot of people, when you can create a character, some people go one way or the other. I actually don't care. I don't care who the protagonist is. As long as the game is fun and I'm enjoying it, I don't care if it's a female lead. I don't care if it's a male lead. Like, for instance, with the Valhalla, I'm normally play as a male character. I played as the female character. It was great. She was awesome. I just didn't like so much the game. It was too big, but the female character was great. Listen, whatever your preference is, folks, I'm just happy to play a good game. Let's see. We have JD Gamer, who's been a channel member for nearly 60 months. Holy matrimony. That is near 6 years of channel member chats. Thank you so much, JD Gamer, for the outstanding and ridiculous support. He says, who's excited? ? I'm excited. I can't wait to see what Xbox has for its players at the real Xbox showcase in January. Let's go, baby. Xbox all the way. Yeah, we're going to get into because there is one particular game there that was leaked by Ecstasies that has my mind blown if it happens, because it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
That'll be wild, bro.
I know you're excited for it, because
it's happening. It's happening for sure. It's just whether or not we're seeing it in January. It was supposed to be this year, so it's pretty easy to see with the stacked nature of the back half of 2024 that it would have been too much to put that in there. So it's easy. Oh man, all right, we're gonna talk about it. Jesus, I'm excited.
So Day Reezy, generous friend of the program. Day, nice to see you, brother. Salute to you. He drops a very generous $5 super chat, and Day goes on to say, C's villain arc has officially begun. This C actually doesn't like mustard and olives, and Microsoft pulled up to the building with bars of gold for Bethesda. Yeah, indeed. And you know what? So let's get into what I sent over to you. And that comes the way of Ecstasies. Now, Ecstasies, if you don't know who he is a massive YouTuber. And he is from Spain. And he has really, really good connections. And so you say, how good? Very good. And I don't know who his connections are, but I know that they have to be high up, simply because he gets a lot of stuff and he gets it right. So what happened yesterday evening on one of his first tweets, and again, this is a rumor, folks, so please take it with a grain of salt, is that there is in fact going to be a developer direct in January. Now, this I can corroborate because I heard this last week. See, Money, you remember we were talking about it. I said, I'm not going to say anything. And I asked you not to say anything. And I spoke to somebody else. And I heard, what the exact words were, look to the third week of January. And that is all I got. I got no games. I had no idea what was happening. My assumption would have been Avowed and South of Midnight, because South of Midnight is rumored to be releasing in March. And of course, we know that Avowed is coming out in February. So that was my assumption. I had zero idea that that Doom: The Dark Ages was going to be there with actual lengthy gameplay. And that is, of course, coming from Ecstasies. And I got the tweet in front of me. It says, confirmation is expected to come with a new trailer during Xbox's Developer Direct in the second half of January. And of course, courtesy of Ecstasies. But that is not, see money, the only thing that Ecstasies broke yesterday. After that tweet, he then came back hours later and put it out there. And again, it's a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. And my nerdness is getting goosebumps here, folks. Apparently, Oblivion Remake is going to be one of the games that they're showing off. And it's not just a remaster. Apparently, and according to Ecstasies, this is a full-on Unreal Engine 5 remake of Oblivion, one of my absolute favorite RPGs of all time. Now, again, I don't know if it's going to be a multi-plat. Remember, Oblivion was available on the PlayStation 3 pretty much everywhere, so it makes sense, especially if it's a remake and they're trying to obviously get it out to everyone to make maximum money. Maybe it goes everywhere. But let's not focus on that. I want to focus on the fact that, hold on, we know that Elder Scrolls 6 is in production right now. And what you're telling me is next year, see money, Xbox gamers who subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate are going to get Avowed. You're going to get Oblivion Remake. You're going to get The Outer Worlds 2, and you're going to get Fable. 4 redonkulous size RPGs in our service for the price of $20 a month, on top of South of Midnight, on top of potentially Clockwork Revolution, on top of Call of Duty. Are you freaking serious? And that's not even counting all of the second, third-party deals that they have and the indie stuff. And we know that they're opening the year with 2 massive third-party drops into Game Pass. Bro, how is Xbox dying? Take it away, man.
Stupidity. It's stupidity. First of all, just to be clear, I'll repeat it. But Oblivion was leaked by that once
court case
from Bethesda. Yeah. So Bethesda's list of games they're making, Oblivion is on there. It was scheduled for 2022. But if you look at everything on that list, everything got pushed back 2 years. So everything came out 2 years later. So we were anticipating last year that game coming out. But so that's not a YouTuber. Like, the YouTuber himself has nothing to do with the fact that Oblivion is being remade. Now, is it being remade in UE5, UE4, anything? I mean, obviously that's all up for debate. But the fact that we're getting a new Oblivion is fact. Like, that's just happening. So the question is, it was 22 on the sheet. Everything got pushed back 2 years. So we should have had it last year. And now it's clear. It looks like it got delayed because we're not getting it this year. So 2025 looks like the next logical step, right? And if it's dropping next year, then logically it would make sense to talk about it in the January Direct, right? Because that's, unless it's going to be the back half of the year, which I don't know if it's going to be in the back half. So this is not like oh my God, what a rumor. This is not going to be happening. Yeah, no, it's going to happen. It's just whether or not it is in fact this year, which I think it is. Especially that you brought up Elder Scrolls 6. It's clear that they're going to want to do as much practice when it comes to the Elder Scrolls series, right? So it would make sense in my mind to go ahead and, create the game. Now, I don't know if UE5 would make sense because of the way that Bethesda games are and all the pickups and all that stuff. It might be going into the Starfield engine. It might be going to the new Bethesda engine. I don't know if Bethesda will drop a game in Unreal Engine 5. Like logically, that doesn't make too much sense to me. Not that it's impossible, but just for me is not likely. But even still, if I can play Oblivion looking like Starfield, yeah, that's gonna be a happy day. If you don't know Oblivion, man, that's the OG. That was on 360. It was glorious. One of the most beautiful games ever when it came out. It is the start of the infamous horse armor DLC. They started microtransactions. They're the ones, you could blame them. So they started it. But yeah, man, open world, beautiful game, amazing story. Still remember the intro of it, how good that was. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So the fact that we're adding that game potentially, I don't know. Obviously, like I said, I know it's coming. It's just whether it got pushed back to 2025 or is it further, that we don't know. The fact that it's being rumored sounds good to me, right? It makes me gets me excited that we're actually going to go ahead and get it relatively soon. But man, if it does drop next year, the list just keeps like, come on, man. It's crazy the year that Game Pass subscribers are going to have, right? Game Pass is going to be crazy next year. Guys, you like the amount of first party Xbox games being dropped next year is legendary. All right. Just legendary, right? It's crazy. It's gonna be a year to remember next year if everything drops the way we're thinking. And again, that's just first party. Next year is also lining up to be a phenomenal year for third party day one drops. It finally looks like the year where everything from that we were waiting for with 33 Immortals that looks like it's going to drop. Replaced is looking like that's where it got pushed back to 2025. So Replaced is going to drop. The Expedition 33, which looks crazy, gonna drop. Atom Falls gonna drop, and there's so many more that I can't even like remember off the top of my head. But just go back to some of the last showcases and you'll see just how much is happening third party wise, day and date in Game Pass. And now go ahead and add the fact that you look at all the first party releases. Again, Avowed starting the year, South of Midnight, Doom, Fable, obviously. Oh my God, that's like, I can't wait for that. And then Outer Worlds 2, Call of Duty, Towerborn.
Yes.
Dude, there's so many. There's so many games coming next year. I don't want to hear anything from these babies, bro. Like people are crying way too much. They're crying way too much. And it just exposes that you don't care about games as much as you pretend to do, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because at the end of the day, you're fighting over other things,
ridiculous.
more. It's just ridiculous, bro. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, listen, this is why a lot of the PlayStation dudes hide their trophies, because they play Twitter more than they play games. See, you can go to my account and see exactly what I've been doing. And the most time I spent on PlayStation this year was one of my favorite games. That was Astrobot. Over nearly 50 hours. And I make no qualms about enjoying every second of it. I had an absolute blast with it. But you can find it. You can look at my trophies and see how many platinums I have. I think I have 6. Big deal. But again, at least I have the console. At least when there's a game that I like, I buy it. I support it. But as an Xbox fan, getting back to what leaked yesterday from Ecstasies, one of the caveats, C-Money, is that rumor Doom the Dark Ages is dropping in May. So think about this for a hot second. Think about this. you open up the 2025 campaign with your developer direct third weekend, right? Everyone's now recovered from the holidays, and we're looking forward towards what 2025 is going to bring for us as gamers, right? Now, if you want to get specific and say Xbox gamers, I hear you. We can go that route. So as an Xbox gamer, you open up 2025 C-Money with this developer direct. Now, there's probably going to be 4 games. We know 2 of them, and again, it is a rumor that these 2 games, Oblivion Remake and Doom the Dark Ages, are going to be there. They're going to show off big. My assumption would be the other 2 would be South of Midnight to give us a release date, because obviously we're going to get some. They released it. Did anyone see on Twitter that small boss battle with two-toed
the
the
crocodile.
alligator? Wow, that looks dope AF.
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
again, that's one of the games coming out next year, early next year, rumored to be March. So just imagine this for a second, folks, as Xbox peasants, as the PlayStation community likes to call us, right? Because we're peasants, right? We have welfare pass. Remember that? I remember it. So we open up the year with the direct in January. February, you get Avowed. February, March, of course, is the next month, third month of the year. You could be getting South of Midnight. Then there's a bit of a lull. Now, is that lull going to be no games? No, I doubt it, because I think that next month is gonna hit for April. We don't know what's coming in April, but if the rumor comes to fruition, you have then Doom in May. Think about that for a second. That's how your year starts as an Xbox fan? Are you freaking kidding me? 3 bangers and a show to open up your year? What is anyone else doing? Like, how is Xbox dying, number one? And how can't you get hyped for that? See, I don't know, man.
I mean, you have to be hyped for it, because it's just, I mean, if you're into games. If you're not into games, then you're not going to be hyped for it, and you're going to spend your time crying on Twitter about the idea that somebody might be playing the same game that you're going to play at some point in the future. Like, that's just crazy. But that being said, I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're going to show South of Midnight on the direct. And the reason I say that is because if they were going to do that, why drop the deep dive? They already did a developer direct. We sat with the developers. We watched them talk about the inspirations of the game, talk about everything that you could talk about. You're just going to run a trailer and give us a date? I don't think so. I think they did that on purpose. I think that's the reason why we got the Avowed deep dive and we got the South of Midnight.
That's a great thought,
I think they're not going to be in the show, bro. I think we're going to get other games. Remember, we talking about literally between 8 and 10 games coming from Microsoft first party next year. Like, that's not jokes. That's not me, making stuff up. I'm not pretending like the other people tend to do. This is reality. We already know these games are coming. We already know what games are coming in 2026. We already know some of the games are coming in 2027, right? So, like, understand, we're not the same, right? We're not the same.
I love when you say that. I love when you say that, because actually, it reminds me of Sesame Street. Like, these people are doing them and not the same.
Yeah, it's not right. We're not the same, but like, understand, we have so many that are coming that obviously they're not going to release them all on the back half of the year. That was last year's thing, not this year, right? They're already starting the year with Avowed, all that stuff. So we know these games are coming. So they have to spread it out somewhere. That's the only explanation I can have for why they would give us these deep dives early. Makes no other sense.
Not only are you, I think, hit it out of the park, but now I'm going to throw a third game into it. Could you imagine, and walk with me on this, folks, because the hype train is just about to leave the station. Walk with me. So the rumor is a remake from yesteryear done in Unreal Engine 5. Ridiculous if Oblivion comes out. Doom the Dark Ages, we got a chance to see it in June. and it was ridiculous. It looked amazing. That game is going to slap. But could you imagine if the third or fourth game, because usually they show 4 games, is Clockwork Revolution, bro? Could you imagine if InXile drops that trailer and it's actual full-on gameplay with them talking about it behind them, on top of Doom the Dark Ages, on top of an Oblivion remake, on top of everything we already know that's happening in 2025? Bro, it is going to be a laughing stock because there's no way Sony's going to be able to keep up with that. Like I said the other day, and like I said, I got the virtual tomatoes thrown. Sony's biggest games next year are from Xbox-owned studios. Let that sink in.
That wasn't tomatoes they were throwing at you, bro. Those were little bags that they collect all their tears with, and then they throw them at you, okay? Because they're throwing you their tears. It's sad for them. It's sad for them that they know that they're going to be spending an insane amount of money next year funding Xbox games. That's what they're going to do, and it's going to be glorious. And again, I do it because I don't know. I see them in the chat, and it's just like the stupidity levels always rise. So clearly these people don't follow gaming when they talk about not knowing what games are coming in 2026 or 2027, right? Because if they knew and followed gaming, then they would know the name Perfect Dark. They would know the name State of Decay 3. They would know the name Gears E-Day. They would know Clockwork Revolution if it doesn't get announced for this year. They would know Forza Horizon 6. They would know the next hit. Like, get on our levels, fam. You just make yourself look stupid, dog. Just stop talking. How many times you got to get shut down? You know what I'm saying? Just stop talking and save yourself the embarrassment. You're not on the level that you think you are. You're talking to yourself. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just get it out there. Just call it what it is.
I got to shout out my man and my brother from another, King David. What he calls those folks are low IQ dudes. He's not wrong, especially when the facts are very easily attainable by doing a Google search. Like
super easy.
Just do a Google search or watch an actual real presentation like this past June's Xbox show, and then you'll understand why you're not the same. But let me just make sure that we're caught up. Again, we have quite a few super chats. We got one here from Hargeet that I have to read Hargeet's first because this is funny. He says this. Hargeet Chani drops a very generous $5 super chat. And he says, did you guys watch the Mark Cerny presentation on the PlayStation 5 Pro? He had to call out the ponies on flopflation. He had that exact term in his presentation. Yes, that's the running joke of today. Hashtag flopflation. Yikes.
Yeah, well, he's talking about the teraflops or whatever it is. Yeah, they're talking about people inflating it. Dudes who sat there and embarrassed themselves saying on their life that it was going to be 33 teraflops, and then they think, oh, I took the L, I don't want to hear it no more. Nah, fam, you talked about that shit so much, you're going to hear it forever. Don't go 10 toes down on stupid crap that you think you know, because you just embarrass yourself and you destroy your credibility forever. Forever. No one will take you seriously again. Delete your YouTube channel, dog. Don't go in that way. Don't go. You're a joke to the world because you thought you knew something that you didn't, and you put your stake on that. You sat down and said, this is for life. I know it. You're idiots for no, fam. No.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, we don't do the name thing here. You can go.
They didn't name nobody. They know who they are.
It is what it is. When you put yourself out there,
this is a general rule for C Money and Doodle. If you ever hear something and it sounds like we might be talking about you, then the possibility is almost certainly true that we are talking about you. We are petty. We will take every moment that we can to dig in deeper. Okay, every time. So if you say to yourself, yo, was he talking about me? Yes. Yes, believe that. I promise you, I was talking about you and your kind. That's all it is to it, bro. Anybody who's like you, anybody who thinks like you, I'm talking about all of y'all. Remember that. Come to the channel. You know who I'm talking about. If you don't know, then it's not you. That's all you got to be worried. If you're saying to yourself, saying, who are we talking about? Then you're good.
Then
you're good. But if you have a moment, if you have a moment of questioning, is he talking about me? Yes. Yes. No matter what line, I could be talking about something completely different and throw in one little line just because I want to take a dig to the person that I know will know what I'm talking about. That's who I'm talking about. Believe it every time, fam.
Well,
Believe it, yo.
At the end of the day, I hope that you had as much fun as me and C Money did. Let me just catch up on these last couple of super chats. We'll get everyone out of here so you can continue on your day. JD Gamer drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, by the way, the 5th year mark for Final Fantasy VII Remake comes in April. Indeed. And look, I think that's happened. Could you imagine if that drops next year as well? Oh, my God. And that's
Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Yeah.
No, they're not going to release any Final Fantasy until the last one is out on PlayStation. Once they finish their contract,
likely, yeah,
they're going to finish the contract, and then they're going to wait for however minimum term they set with Sony for that last game. And then once that last game comes out, then if they so desire, they will release games elsewhere. Yeah, I don't see them doing it before.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone in this channel on the Xbox platform could take another RPG on top of what's already coming out from first party. It's just ridiculous at this point. But we also have here Traybone 408 _ has been a channel member for a long year. So Traybone, thank you so much for the generosity. He says Pony Media, aka Pony Thoughts, are out here showing their ass again, making remarks like $3 trillion company doesn't know business. Xbox is the new Windows. I mean,
we said it all the time, dog. It's too big to fail now to Microsoft. Microsoft ridiculous. Will not let it fail. It is now. It's not every. Obviously, this is by quarters, guys. So it's not every quarter that Xbox is bigger than Windows, but it has been. It has been. So just the fact that it has been shows you and tells you that this is done. Like, they're not ever going to let it fail. They're going to invest as much as they need to because their stockholders already expect Xbox to perform. This is what they expect. Yeah. So because of that ain't never going to stop.
Indeed.
That ain't never going to stop.
Indeed. The last couple here, we have Bounty drops, who's been a channel member for 42 months. Dude, that is crazy generous of you. Thank you so much. He says, if that's true, my backlog is getting overfilled and I'm buying some games on sale now. 7 games on sale. Damn. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. By the way, talking about buying games, is anybody an old school cat here in the chat who appreciates side-scrolling beat-em-ups? Because I kind of needed a palate cleanser for me personally after Call of Duty, after Indiana Jones. So what I'm now kind of just regressing to is old school stuff. I'm playing G.I. Joe, which is freaking amazing. If you are an old school cat and you love G.I. Joe from the 80s, you got to buy this game. But that's not the only one, because the new Power Rangers released, and
is it good?
God, dude.
See, Power Rangers is my jam. See, that's where I started.
They did things with that game that should not be in a side scroller, because not only do you have the side scrolling, but remember how the Contra missions had the stuff on the bikes? Mm-hmm. Well, they have that, but there's also, get ready, when you form the Zoid, it's a first-person punching game where you're beating up the other. It freaking is insane.
Yo, so that's wild.
Go buy those side-scroller games if you are an OG like myself. Torino Johnson has been a channel member for over a year, 15 months as a matter of fact. So Torino, thank you so much for the support. He says, with the awesome Superman trailer, I wish Xbox would get the rights to the game. Xbox should go for DC since PlayStation is trying to corner Marvel. I mean, I'd love to see them do something with DC, especially because James Gunn. I like James Gunn. I know people don't too much care for him. That's fine. I saw the Superman trailer. I've watched it twice. I liked it. I did. I have to watch it another time. I want to see if I can get to loving it. There's a lot there. I don't like Guy Gardner's haircut, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, which of course is old school Green Lantern. If you didn't know, man, and that's Finian too. I like him as an actor. I hate his hair. Oh my god, it kind of was a bit of a turn off for me personally. It looked goofy, but again, I want to watch the trailer. I want to see it at least a dozen times. And I'm probably going to fall in love with it. I like the direction that they're taking Superman. It's not so much old school as it's it's we'll see. Again,
so I saw the Superman trailer. So you haven't watched it yet?
I watched it multiple times. Yes.
Oh, okay. So my problem with it is it made me realize how much I prefer Henry Cavill as Superman.
Me too.
I feel like he is Superman.
He is will always be Superman to me.
I just feel like he has like all the other Supermans, obviously people from their times are always going to have like their favorites, but I just mean like aesthetically speaking, like the person that I would imagine look like Superman is him.
Henry
and the
Cavill.
problem with this movie that I see immediately is that they obviously believe that too. So they try to get someone who kind of looks similar to him. And that's just what I feel, because he kind of looks similar, but he looks like the AI version of Henry Cavill. You know what I'm saying? Like just off. So it just, all I do when I see, like at first I was like, did they like de-age him? Is he just like thinner and just not as strong? Like it looked like it was Henry Cavill, just like, I don't know, thinner and de-aged a little bit. But that's the only thing that I felt was like, he doesn't live up to Henry Cavill. It's almost like The Witcher, right? When you see, like, I feel like Henry Cavill just is The Witcher for me. Yeah. Like the human Witcher, he looks like him, like that's the way he should be. But then like they showed Liam whatever doing it, and it's just like
it's just not the same. Yeah,
it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the same.
It is what it is. But listen, the last two super chats come the way of Will Broke Boy Lewis. The first one of $5. He goes on to say, "Looks like next year will be the same as this." No, I read Hargeet's before. He's the one that said about the Sony presentation and the PS5 Pro. Where he's a flopflation, which
that's right.
I thought that was fake until I saw it actually.
It's really there. They're literally doing damage control against the people who sat there and lied blatantly, and
they knew it.
They're claiming to have leaked documents. Now, just to show you how damaging that is, because these people are claiming that they know from leaked documents, they had to come out and say, no. These people are commenting on things that they don't actually know based off of leaked documents. Yeah. Right. So they had it like to imagine being literally called out, but like you being one of the main people being called out by Mark Cerny,
the guy that actually created the console.
Like to be called out, how can you shatter your like reputation any worse? It's crazy. That's hilarious. It's
not a good look. That's all that I will say. Finally, Will Broke Boy Lewis drops an additional, very generous $2 super chat and says Microsoft should buy 11% of KADOKAWA just to piss Sony off. I mean, that is freaking hilarious. But look, at the end of the day, 2025, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a banger of a year for Xbox. Listen, look. What Sony is going to do with their couple of games, if you are a Sony guy or gal, you're gonna be eating good, because you're going to be playing games from Xbox on your PlayStation. You're going to be playing the next
third-party games,
a lot of third-party stuff, which is fine.
All third-party,
that's fine. You got Kojima's next game coming out there. You obviously have Ghost of Yotai, which I honestly cannot wait for. But if you're an Xbox guy or gal, my God, you are going to be eating good in the neighborhood. There's just no doubt about it. And mind you, we know about 6 to 7 games already, not counting second, third-party Game Pass deals, as well as a lot of the indie stuff that's dropping on Game Pass. It is going to be a bloodbath for and I don't want to I want to get us out of here, but I want to see how the Game Awards are going to be able to keep Xbox games out of the awards next year. That's what I will.
Well, that's going to be the that next year will be the ultimate exposure of them, right? So if with everything coming out of first party from Xbox, games that literally are from franchises that have been winners of, different awards and been nominated for sure. Let's see if they're going to try to do the same thing and say, no, we're not going to nominate an Xbox game. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we did. So Will Lewis drops an additional $5 super chat and says, "Did you read completely the $5 super chat?" C asked if you saw Hargeet. I believe I did read the whole thing. So I'll read it again. It says, "Did you guys watch the Sony presentation on the PlayStation?"
No. He's talking about his. Looks like next year will be the same as this year.
Yeah. So he says Xbox will release more first-party games on PlayStation than PlayStation on their own console. Yeah, and again,
Facts.
Will, I actually said that, and dude, like I had to stop reading the comments because people are just so emotional over this. Like I'm not.
Let them cry.
I don't know. It's fine.
Microsoft don't care. That's the point. That's the beauty of it. See, the difference is when they cried before, right, during the Xbox One generation and during all those things, they changed. They say, oh no, look, they're crying, we're going to be screwed. They don't care. They don't care. And you know why? Because they know something that these people refuse to accept. And it's just this very simple fact that the numbers don't add up. Listening to these people who account for such a small percentage of the business makes no sense, when at the end of the day, you're going to be banking like crazy and being able to give to your core Xbox fans, not the pretenders, not the fake fans who are only fans for, I don't know, because their mom bought them an Xbox when they were young. And so they couldn't get a different console. So that's what they chose to rep. They never experienced the other console. I don't know. Whatever thing they need to do to justify the reason why they own the one console, or that's the only one they want to play, right? Whatever they have to do to justify themselves is now in their mind being taken away because they can't fight about exclusives. I'm sorry, man. I've had an Xbox forever. At the end of the day, yeah, was I like Boom and everybody else disappointed back in the day when I was like, well, that's not what we did before, right? But life moves on.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, but if you're gonna live in the past, my dude, then I'm like, you got problems. You gotta be able to adjust in your life and make new decisions when new information arises. If you cannot do that, my dude, I don't know what to do for you, man.
Ultimately, what's going to happen is the industry is going to leave you behind. That's ultimately what's going to happen. Yes, you can be upset. Yes, I've seen some people even take some really, really like super extreme ism way of, well, I'm not playing Xbox first party games. That's it. I'm done.
Good.
Okay, I guess. I mean, that to me, that's kind of spite.
I mean, but they're not a gamer, right? That's exposed, right? That means they never really cared about the Xbox games. Because you're telling me if you're a Halo fan and you're saying when the next Halo drops, you're not going to play it, then you're actually not a Halo fan, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I had my Xbox day one over 20 years ago, and I got Halo day one, and I put that in, I fell in love with Halo. That's what I fell in love with. Halo is my favorite franchise of all time. Halo is my game. So Xbox is what delivered Halo to me, right? That is the reality of what it is, right? But the game is what matters. That's what I hear on the internet, right? The games are what matters, right? They supposedly mock the console warring people because the games are supposed to matter, yet the very people who mock people who console war, right? Those very people are now saying how stupid it is for Microsoft to put their games in other places to make more money so that they can continuously invest in gaming as they've shown us to do on a consistent basis. This is what they've done. Come on, man. Get out of here. That's why you can't listen to these people. You can't pay them no mind. They're babies. They're crybabies.
It's just goalpost moving. So again, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, ladies and gentlemen. And look, that's where we're going to end it. And again, if you're an old school cat like me and you appreciate Beverly Hills Cop, you know exactly what I am talking about. But look, thank you so much for tuning in. But let's get everyone out of here so you can continue on your Thursday. But I do want to go into before we bring C Money in to get his information on Point for Gamers with him and Doodle, which is a great channel that you should subscribe to. We got to talk about tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is the big one. It is the biggest show of the year for Double Barrel Gaming. It is not the last show of the year for Double Barrel Gaming. Next week we are doing a show Monday and Tuesday. I don't know how big the Tuesday show is going to be. It might just be me hanging out with you guys, talking about it. I'm going to see if I can get a couple of guests to join me because Wednesday is Christmas. I will talk privately whether or not we're going to do a show on Thursday. If we can do it, we'll do it. And then, of course, Friday would be, a show that we'll consider to do as well because Mrs. Boom, unfortunately, because she's in a new job, she didn't have the time to get off. So unfortunately, she's off Christmas, but she's working Monday and Tuesday and then Thursday and Friday, which kind of sucks for her because obviously Christmas is in the middle of the week, which sucks for pretty much everybody. So if she's going to be working, then more than likely I'm going to be doing shows. Again, I'll put it out there exactly what shows will be live, when they will be live. They're probably going to run about maybe 75 minutes, give or take, because I want everybody to enjoy their holiday, and we're just going to, shoot the breeze. I don't think there's going to be any new news, but hey, you freaking never know after what happened last night or in the last 12 hours. But yet tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Boomstick and I are doing one of the biggest giveaways the channel has ever done in its 7-year history. We're giving away $2,000 in 2 hours. Yes, you have heard me right. $2,000 worth of prizes in 2 hours. And what those prizes consist of are 10 $100 gift card, digital gift card prizes to your platform of choice. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo eShop, or Steam. If you win one, you tell me where you want the card to, and I will get it to you. And the next 4 prizes are the big ones. And these are special because for the first time, we are designating these 4 prizes as cash. We are giving you the cash. If you are one of 4 winners, we are giving away $250 gift prizes, 4 of them that equate to $1,000. And if you win, all you got to do is send me your PayPal information, and we will send you over that $250, and we will incur any transfer fees that PayPal asks us to pay. Now, if they ask you to pay something, we can't be responsible for that because obviously you're taking the money and you're putting it where you're putting it. We will pay the transfer fee that PayPal, charges when you send someone money. We pick up that. So you pay literally nothing. And it's the first time we're giving away cash prizes, and it's the first time we're giving away $1,000 in cash prizes. Again, we can't do any of this without the unbelievable generosity that you saw here today, and the people that continue to support the channel with channel memberships, and people like Will Broke Boy Lewis, who dropped another $5 super chat. Will asks this: are winners eligible for all prizes, or after they win, they're pulled out of the drawings? Yes, 1 winner per prize. So if you win a $100 gift card, you're not going to take home a $250 because, again, we just, it would be unfair. So 14 different winners. What I've done in the past is someone has won, and then their name, what we do is we don't necessarily pull their name out because we don't have that kind of power. The drawings come the way of the picker comes the way of StreamYards. It's an additive for the service that we pay for. So if someone just win, we just re-roll. So thank you so much for the question, and I'm glad. I hope I clarified that for you. But yes, there will be 14 different winners tomorrow. One of 14 prizes, and of course, the only way. How do you enter? Simply be in the chat. We're going to give you at the beginning of the show a hashtag to put into the chat. You put it into the chat, and the minute that goes in, you are registered to win. The first 7 prizes will go to channel members because obviously they support the channel, and anyone else, the next 7 winners that is left in the chat that hangs out for the 90-minute or 2-hour show that we're going to have, You don't have to even be subscribed to the channel. As long as you put the hashtag in, you have a shot at winning one of those 7 prizes. And again, I think that's a fair way to do it because the channel members do support the channel and they do get first crack at the first 7 prizes. But we did split it down the middle. So the next 7 go to anyone that is in the chat. See, Money, let's sell the brand of On Point for Gamers. You and Doodle are expected to have a hoot of a time tomorrow evening. I would imagine that already
tonight.
Tonight as well. But Hargeet Chani is licking his chops because he is going to go in on some of the stuff. Obviously, he dropped a couple of super chats. So Hargeet, thank you again for supporting the channel. Let's sell the brand. Where could people subscribe? Because you guys had an amazing year in 2024. Couldn't be more proud of the work that you and the missus do. If you're not already subscribed, you're doing it all wrong. Please subscribe, and you can easily find all of C's information in the show notes. It's a double click to get there and another click to subscribe. And also, please tell people where they can follow you and the missus on social media.
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you, Boom Man. Appreciate it. Love being on the show. Another Thursday in the books. So you can find me here Thursday on XVlog Live, 12 p.m. Eastern time on Double Barrel Gaming Channel. So definitely find us here. And then, yeah, we have our Twitter, which is right here. See Money Forever. We have my wife, Doodle. She's Doodle to be free. The number 2, BEFREE, free. So you can follow us on Twitter. We've been having some fun. I've been having a lot of fun with what's been going on. So definitely follow us there if you want to have a good time. And then, yeah, our channel is On Point for Gamers. It's a Xbox focused channel where we look at everything that's happening in gaming, regardless of platform, just from Xbox gamer perspective, right? So definitely come check us out. We do 4 shows a week. I'll keep it short because I know we went over, but we have a Sunday morning show, 10 a.m. Eastern. We have a Tuesday night show, 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a Thursday night show, 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's tonight. And tonight is going to be fun, so you don't want to miss that one. And then tomorrow night is 8 p.m. Eastern, the night shift Let's Talk Gaming. We have our boy Hargeet, Shani, and Demo Flow Gaming there with us. It's definitely it's a wild
Demo
time.
Flow, I've been talking with him. We got to get him in one of the shows. Actually, you know what, Demo Flow, I'll reach out to you today. We'll see if we can get you in next Thursday, and we'll end the year because I like some of the work that he's doing, and we've been talking back and forth. He's been in the chat a bit of for quite a while. So Demo Flow, I'm gonna reach out to you in a DM. We got to get him in here with us. See Money.
Yeah, Demo's awesome. He's he just had a baby. His first baby.
Congratulations. That
so
is
we
awesome.
call him the PSP. He's the pony slaying papa. You know what I'm saying? Pony slaying papa. He's not messing around. So definitely come, next week if he's able to hop on. Definitely he'll be with us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's gonna be a fun time, man. So yeah, the link's in the chat. Come shout out. I mean, I see a lot of our homies here. I see a lot of ponies that don't want to come, which is cool. And I see some used to be Xbox guys who turned ponybot who are here who don't come no more, but that's okay too, man. That's all right. We all pick lanes, man. That's just the way it is. So yeah, man. But shout out to Boom, man. Out here doing amazing things. So proud to be a part of the channel that does what he does, man. Giving back. He does not have to do that. Listen, you can look at this and say what you want, but like we do between 4 or 5 shows, we've kind of settled on 4 shows, but we know what it is. Most of these dudes out here doing 1 or 2 shows, like that's great. Everybody's putting in the work and that's fine. I'm not taking away what they do, but the fact that Boom is here every weekday, 5 days a week.
Thank you, sir.
Coming out here, putting on shows, getting different groups of people together and giving you different takes. Like this is legit, like phenomenal. So, he deserves everything that he's been getting, finally being recognized the way he should be by industry people, which is phenomenal. That's what it should be. He deserves that. But also just seeing the continuous success here, having, these these ponies don't like what you say, but they show up every week. You know what I'm saying? They come into the show and they watch, right? And that's a beautiful thing, man. The fact that you're able to, have so many people want to come see you, right? It's a beautiful thing, man. So congrats to you, man. And, the misses. You guys do.
We definitely appreciate the high praise and the very kind words. I mean, listen, again, we do this for you guys. I'm retired. I was fortunate enough to do 21 years as a New York City police officer and live to talk and to tell the tale. And now I get a chance to talk about video games 5 days a week, and that's incredible. That is unbelievable, and that's thanks to you, fine folks. We wouldn't be here. C Money and Doodle and myself and so many other creators wouldn't be here putting out the kind of content we did if it wasn't for you. Because you got to remember, without an audience, you don't have a show. And of course, we're always going to be grateful for that. And that's why, we do the big giveaways, because we do want to pay it forward. And again, it's the generosity that comes to us. We feel not obligated, because obligation is not part of the conversation. We honestly and truly love giving back to this community in any way that we can and keeping it positive. Yeah, we have slander. Yes, we have fun. That's all fun and games. But at the end of the day, we're here for you, and we appreciate the support that comes in. And of course, we have a new channel member, Potty Penguin. Thank you so much, brother. Nice to see you here, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at the big it's not the end of year show, but it's certainly the biggest show for Double Barrel Gaming.
It's the big send-off for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely the big send-off. But thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, a big thank you to all of the super chats, all of the new channel memberships.
Reezy came in with a chat, by the way.
Oh, he did. Okay, so Day Reezy has been a channel member for 5 months. So Day, thank you so much for the continued support. He says, huge Power Ranger fan here. Just to be sure, which new Power Rangers game is it, Boom? I just installed one. I think it is. It's the one, something Rita's Revenge. I think that's the new one. Is
it the latest one? The latest one
that just came out. Yeah. If you go to new games on Xbox, you'll see it. Just scroll down. I think it's the 4th or 5th row. You're going to see that it's Power Rangers Rita's Revenge. I believe that's what it's called. That's the new side scroller, and that would be a part of the new games list. It's $34.99. It's $35, but for me, it's worth every penny, because if you're a fan of Power Rangers, you're going to freaking love this game.
Is it the old school Power Rangers? Because it's Rita's Revenge, right? So it's the first initial.
The old school joints, yes, and they have all their Zoids and everything, bro. It is
Red Ranger, bro.
It is
made me fall in love with he was so badass. Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah. I love it. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here. Hopefully you enjoyed enough the program enough to hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.